I stared at the screen, my thumb frozen mid-scroll, as her words burned into my retinas like acid on skin. Dating a man who can't afford to spoil you is just friendship. There it was, posted on her Instagram story, the one she thought I wouldn't see because she'd blocked me from viewing it. Or so I discovered later, piecing together the puzzle of her deceit. But a mutual friend had screenshot it and sent it my way, their message dripping with awkward sympathy. "Dude, is this about you?" My heart slammed against my ribs, a caged animal desperate to escape. The room spun, the faint hum of the fridge in our tiny apartment kitchen turning into a roar in my ears. We'd been together for 3 years, scraping by on my barista wages and her part-time gig at the boutique, dreaming of a future where we'd make it. And now this. Public humiliation, wrapped in a pretty filter with hearts and a caption that screamed entitlement. Fury boiled up from my gut, hot and choking, but beneath it, something colder stirred, a whisper of revenge that I shoved down for now. Her name was Lena, and she'd always been the one with the sparkle, the girl who turned heads in a crowded bar with her laugh like wind chimes and eyes that promised adventure. I was Alex, the steady one, the guy who fixed her car when it broke down and held her through panic attacks about her dead-end job. We'd met at a coffee shop where I worked, her ordering a complicated latte with a smile that made the fluorescent lights feel warmer. But lately things had frayed. Bills piled up, arguments about money simmered, and she'd started spending more time on her phone, scrolling through influencers' lives of luxury yachts and designer bags. I thought it was harmless escapism. Now, staring at that post, I realized it was a manifesto, a declaration that I wasn't enough. I slammed my laptop shut, the click echoing like a gunshot in the empty apartment. She was out running errands, which probably meant window shopping at the mall we couldn't afford. My mind raced, denial crashing in waves. Maybe it wasn't about me. Maybe it was a repost, some viral quote she found funny. But no, the timestamp was fresh, and the background was our living room couch, the one with the coffee stain I'd tried to scrub out last week. Heartbreak clawed at my chest, raw and unrelenting. How could she? After all the nights I'd stayed up late, applying for better jobs, promising her we'd get out of this rut. Resentment festered, imagining her typing those words, smirking at the likes rolling in from her friends. Friends who'd always eyed me with pity, like I was the charity case in her life. I paced the worn linoleum floor, the sticky residue under my bare feet a reminder of our shared poverty. The air smelled of last night's takeout, cheap noodles gone stale. I grabbed my phone, fingers trembling as I unblocked her. Wait, she'd blocked me from stories. That alone was a gut punch. Scrolling back, I found more subtle posts about deserving better, memes about broke boyfriends. Humiliation burned my cheeks, imagining her followers, our mutual acquaintances, whispering, laughing. Poor Alex can't even spoil his girl. Obsession took root, a dark vine twisting through my thoughts. I fantasized about confronting her, screaming until my voice broke, but doubt crept in. What if I was overreacting? What if this was her way of venting, not betraying? She came home an hour later, keys jingling like nothing was wrong. "Hey babe," she said, dropping shopping bags. Empty, I noticed, with a peck on my cheek. Her perfume, floral and expensive, the sample she'd swiped from work, filled the space between us. I forced a smile, my jaw aching from the effort. "Good day?" I asked, voice steady, but inside rage simmered like oil in a hot pan. "Yeah, just grab some essentials," she lied smoothly, avoiding my eyes. We sat on the couch, the same one in her post, and she scrolled her phone absent-mindedly. Tension coiled in my gut, a spring ready to snap. "Saw your story," I said casually, watching her face. She froze just for a second, then laughed it off. "Oh, that. Just a silly quote I saw online. Not about us, silly." But her eyes darted, and her fingers tightened on her phone. Manipulation hung in the air, thick as fog. I nodded, pretending to buy it, but inside the seed of vengeance sprouted. Why lie if it was innocent? Guilt flickered in me, maybe I was paranoid, but no, this was real. That night, as she slept beside me, her breathing soft and even, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling cracks that mirrored my fracturing heart. Plans whispered in the dark. Expose her, make her feel the sting. But fear held me back. What if revenge destroyed me too? Moral conflict gnawed. Was I becoming the monster? The next morning, over burnt toast and weak coffee, she complained about our finances again. I just want to feel special, you know? Like taken care of. Her words were a knife twist, confirming everything. I murmured agreement, but resentment built, layer by layer. I started small, subtle, checking her phone when she showered, discovering texts to a guy named Marcus, a friend from work who'd been helping her network. Flirty emojis, late-night chats. Heartbreak deepened into obsession. Who was he? A quick social media stalk revealed a flashy life. Sports car, vacations, the kind of guy who could spoil her. Doubt warred with fury. Was this cheating or just fantasy? I confronted her that evening, voice low to hide the tremor. Who's Marcus? The kitchen light buzzed overhead, casting harsh shadows on her face. She rolled her eyes, crossing her arms. Just a coworker, Alex. God, why are you always so jealous? But her defensiveness rang false, heightening the suspense in my chest. I didn't push, not yet. Instead, I retreated to the bedroom, feigning a headache. Alone, I plotted in whispers to myself. Gather evidence, build a case. The air felt heavier, charged with unspoken threats. Guilt pricked. Spying was wrong, but so was her betrayal. My resolve hardened, cold as steel. Days blurred into a haze of quiet calculation. I followed her one afternoon, heart pounding as I trailed her to a cafe downtown. Through the window, steam rising from mugs, I saw her with him. Marcus, laughing, his hand on her arm. The betrayal hit like a freight train, knocking the air from my lungs. Humiliation surged. I was the fool, the placeholder. Back home, I rifled through her drawers while she was out, finding receipts for dinners I hadn't known about, paid with his card. Obsession consumed me. Nights spent imagining her screams of regret, my hands shaking with suppressed rage. Inner conflict raged. Revenge or forgiveness. But as I uncovered more, deleted messages recovered via a shady app. Her words to him echoed. Alex is sweet, but he's holding me back. Cold resolve settled. I'd make her pay, but slowly, letting the tension build like a storm on the horizon. I started planting seeds. Anonymous comments on her posts, questioning her loyalty. She grew paranoid, snapping at me over nothing. Someone's trolling me, she whined one night, curled on the couch. I hugged her, hiding my smirk in her hair. It'll pass, I lied, the scent of her shampoo turning my stomach. Suspense thickened. She had no idea the storm was me. Moral grayness tugged. Was this justice or cruelty? But her betrayal justified it, or so I told myself. The turning point came a week later. I accidentally left my laptop open to her messages, waiting for her reaction. She gasped, confronted me. You spied on me? Tears welled, but they felt performative. You posted about me. I shot back, voice cracking with authentic pain. Humiliated me publicly. It was a joke, she yelled, but her eyes betrayed guilt. We argued, words like weapons. Hers manipulative, mine laced with suppressed fury. She stormed out to Marcus, I assumed. Alone, plans crystallized. Expose them both, ruin her perfect image. Fear of consequences loomed. What if it backfired? But obsession won. I began gathering digital dirt, screenshots stacking like ammunition. As part 1 closed, tension peaked. I followed her again to his apartment, peering through rain-streaked windows at their embrace. Heart-shattering, I vowed revenge, the night air cold on my skin, foreshadowing the chill of what was to come. Rain pelted the windshield as I sat in my beat-up sedan outside Marcus's upscale condo, the wipers slapping a rhythmic dirge. Their silhouettes danced behind the curtains, laughing, touching, each movement a fresh stab of betrayal. Humiliation morphed into a seething resentment that pulsed in my veins like venom. I'd driven here on impulse, fueled by the screenshots burning a hole in my pocket, but now doubt crashed in. Was I really going to become this person? The avenger, the destroyer? Guilt whispered that forgiveness might heal, but the image of her post, that damning declaration, silenced it. No, she'd chosen this. Cold resolve hardened my spine. Revenge wouldn't be impulsive. It would be surgical, a slow unraveling of her world. I drove home through the storm, thunder rumbling like my inner turmoil. The apartment felt emptier, her absence a void filled with echoes of our happier times. Lazy Sundays in bed, her head on my chest. Heartbreak lingered, but obsession sharpened my focus. That night, I dove deeper into digital shadows, using free tools to trace their affair. Emails, Venmo transfers for dates. It was all there, a trail of deceit. Moral conflict gnawed. Invading privacy was wrong, but so was her public shaming of me. Fantasies of justice played out, exposing her to her family, her boss, but fear held me. What if I got caught, labeled the stalker? She returned late, makeup smudged, smelling of his cologne. Where were you? I asked, voice neutral, stirring pasta on the stove. The sizzle of garlic masked my racing heart. With friends, she muttered, avoiding my gaze. Dialogue dripped tension. Her lies were flimsy now, cracking under scrutiny. Why do you care? You're always working anyway. I plated the food, hands steady despite the rage bubbling. Just worried. Saw your post again. Friends reposted it. A subtle jab, watching her flinch. It's nothing, she snapped, fork clinking against the plate. Suppressed rage simmered in me as we ate in silence, the clock ticking like a bomb. That meal was our last civil one. Suspense built as I began my quiet campaign. First, I created anonymous accounts, posting snippets of her messages on Reddit threads about infidelity. Vague enough to avoid direct ties, but her friends would recognize the phrasing. Whispers started. Texts from mutuals asking if we were okay. She grew edgy, checking her phone obsessively. Someone's out to get me, she confided one evening, voice trembling. I held her, guilt twisting like a knife, comforting the enemy, but resolve pushed through. This was payback for the humiliation she'd inflicted. Inner thoughts warred. Was I justified? Her betrayal had shattered my trust, turned love to ash. But doubt crept. Maybe she was unhappy for reasons I ignored. Flashbacks haunted, her tears over my long hours, my promises unkept. Yet resentment won. She'd chosen public mockery over communication. The plan escalated. I found a note from Marcus in her purse, planted by me of course, and confronted her. Explain this, I demanded, holding the paper, my voice low and dangerous. She paled, stammering. It's not what you think. He's just a friend. But tears betrayed her, and she confessed fragments. I'm sorry, Alex. You deserve better, but so do I. Manipulation peaked, twisting blame onto me. Fury exploded internally, but I played calm. We'll work through it, I lied, hugging her as plans solidified. Obsession drove me to befriend Marcus online under a fake profile, posing as a networking contact. He bit, boasting about his conquests in DMs, including Lena. Screenshots piled up, evidence of his married status. Wait, married? A web search confirmed, wife, kids, the works. Shock hit. Lena was the other woman, complicit in another's betrayal. Moral grayness deepened. My revenge now targeted too, but guilt surged. Was I stooping to their level? Slow burn built. I leaked hints to his wife anonymously, a burner email with blurred photos. Chaos ensued. Lena came home hysterical. Marcus's wife knows. She called me a whore. Sobs racked her, and I consoled, hiding triumph. How? She wailed. Karma maybe, I murmured, the word heavy with foreshadowing. Tension coiled. She suspected nothing, but paranoia ate at her. Our dialogue sharpened. You believe me, right? She'd plead. Of course, I'd reply, eyes cold. Inner conflict raged. Seeing her broken stirred pity, but resentment reminded. She'd broken me first. Climax approached. I arranged a surprise dinner, inviting her family. Devout, judgmental folks who'd disown her for this. Subtle hints dropped beforehand. Casual mentions of her stress. The night arrived, candlelight flickering on our rickety table, aromas of roast filling the air. She looked wary, dressed up, unaware. Mid-meal, her phone buzzed. Anonymous texts with full screenshots, sent by me from the bathroom. She blanched, excusing herself. Chaos erupted. Her mother glanced at her own phone. I'd CC'd them subtly. "What is this?" her father boomed, voice thunderous. Lena crumbled, confessions spilling amid tears. It was a mistake. But the damage was done. Family outrage, my feigned shock. I had no idea. I lied, heartbreak authentic in my voice. As they left, disowning whispers trailing, she turned to me, eyes wild. "You did this." Accusation hung, suspense peaking. Denial first. "What?" "No." But then cold resolve. "You posted about me. Humiliated me. This is justice." Her fury matched mine. "You're a monster." But guilt flickered in her. Recognition of her role. The twist struck like lightning. As she packed to leave, I revealed the final card. Marcus's wife. She's filing for divorce, taking everything. And your job. They got the emails too. Affair with a client. Her boutique boss, a friend of his wife, had fired her that afternoon. She collapsed sobbing. "Why?" "Because dating a woman who betrays you is just heartbreak." I echoed her post, voice venomous. Poetic justice landed, but unexpected consequences hit me. Emptiness, not triumph. As she walked out into the rain, door slamming, I stared at the ruins, our life shattered. Revenge tasted bitter. Obsession faded to regret. Was I the villain now? The apartment echoed with silence, a psychological scar that would never heal. In the end, betrayal begot betrayal, a cycle unbroken. I scrolled her abandoned profile, deleted now, and wondered if justice ever truly wins, or if it just leaves ghosts.